Unfortunately, we are having a slight IT or technical issue in the courtroom. So, let me just first see, is, Ms. Reiser is present.
Your Honor.
Do I have any private counsel who are present on Zoom at the present, Mr. Hawkins?
Good morning, Your Honor. Happy Friday.
You too. What brings you to Orca today?
I am handling a plea for my partner, Justin Spiesman, and Miss Jessica Ibisanmi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is on the Zoom as well. And all of the documentation, as I understand it, has been provided to the prosecutor and to the court.
All right.
And should be ready to go.
Mrs. Stevens, is that your case?
That's fine.
Okay, Ms. Waldron? Do we have the documents?
Yes, Judge.
All right, we all set to go.
Yeah, I will.
And the defendant's name is?
She's on the Zoom, Your Honor. Jessica Ibisanmi. Ibisanmi.
Is that the correct name?
Yes, Your Honor, position number 2.
I've got a completely different name on my calendar, so I just want to be sure.
Okay.
I have one. Okay, just 1 second, Mr. Hawkins.
Sure.
All right, she's the add-on. I got it. Okay. All right, Mr. Hawkins is present, Ms. Ibisanmi is present, and we have the documents. Okay, let's begin. This is the case of State versus Jessica, Jesssyca, middle initial M, last name is Ibisanmi, Ibisanmi. Ms. Ibisanmi is present via Zoom, along with her attorney, Mr. Michael Hawkins, who is covering for Justin Spiesman. Ms. Ibisanmi, this is a misdemeanor criminal case. I'd like to remind you that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of the case or the allegations, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Mr. Hawkins will be assisting you during the course of this plea hearing. For the purposes of the plea and just the plea, may I place you under oath?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. The original charges brought against Ms. Ibisanmi were for basic rules violation, failure to maintain lane, DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, and DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol per se, stemming from a February 3rd, 2019 incident in Fulton County, Georgia. So, Ms. Waldrop, based on these 4 charges and with regards to the plea, what are we doing?
Yes, Judge, the defendant is pleading to 1 count of reckless driving. I have amended count 4 in Odyssey. The state will tender a null pros to the court on count 3. And with respect to the basic rules and the failure to maintain lane, those charges will merge.
All right, so the DUI per se is going to be amended to reckless driving,
That is correct, Judge.
and counts 1 and 2 will merge with the new charge.
Correct.
And the DUI less safe is going to be null crossed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is that your understanding, Mr. Hawkins?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we're going to proceed with 1 count of reckless driving. And what's the recommendation?
Yes, Judge, the state's negotiated sentence on that charge is 12 months to serve, 24 hours, credit for time served, balance probated, credit for 1 day, balance probated, for the defendant to pay a $300 fine, complete 40 hours of community service, risk reduction, an alcohol and drug evaluation, and any treatment deemed necessary, as well as a victim impact panel. counsel, do you stipulate to a factual basis, venue, and identification for purposes of the plea?
Yes.
This is the first DUI arrest, judge, nothing further from the state.
All right, well, it's a first DUI arrest, but not a conviction, so,
Well, yes, the first conviction. It would be a first conviction. Well, no, it wouldn't be a conviction for DUI, so yes.
Mr. Hopkins, does your client accept these terms with regards to an exchange for a guilty plea to reckless driving?
Yes, she does, Your Honor. This is a negotiated plea. We would ask the court to accept the terms. One thing we did want to request, Your Honor, once she completes all conditions, if you would allow probation to terminate early, we would make that request, please.
Any objection from Ms. Waldrop?
No, judge.
All right, that would be granted. Has she completed any of these programs or conditions?
Ms. Ibizami, have you completed any of the conditions? I'm looking at the file, Your Honor. And again, forgive me, I was just asked to handle this as Mr.
Well,
Spiesman is in another court this morning. But if
Let
I
me
could
just
inquire of the
clarify.
defendant, yes.
Okay, Ms. Ibn-Sami, I'm assuming your attorney has spoken to you about the terms of the recommended sentence. Have you completed any of these conditions, 40 hours community service or the risk reduction program, or submitted to an alcohol and drug evaluation?
No, not yet, but I can definitely get it completed.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and Mr. Hawkins will stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for a charge of reckless driving, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Ibn-Sami, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No,
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
yes,
And are you satisfied with the legal services that you've received as well?
yes,
And is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea offer today?
no,
Has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty to reckless driving and accept the recommended sentence as indicated by the prosecutor, you would have to give up your constitutional right to go back to court, to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury, to be able to have the assistance of counsel to challenge the evidence brought against you, to challenge the witnesses who may testify against you, as well as have the state try to prove the original charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
yes,
And has it been explained to you that pleading guilty to this charge will add points to your driving record?
yes,
All right. And is such a situation, well, I don't think it will apply to other matters. So how do you plead to one count of reckless driving?
guilty,
The sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 1 day. The remainder of the 1 year will be served on probation. You will report to probation. You will report in person to the probation office next Thursday, which is going to be August 24th at before 3 p.m. The location for the probation office is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will complete the following conditions. Pay a $300 fine plus any court costs and surcharges. Complete 40 hours of voluntary community service with any nonprofit agency that's not a school and not a religious organization. But the nonprofit agency has to be a 501c qualified kind of business. You will complete 1 risk reduction program. You will submit to a healthcare provider to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation. And if any treatment or counseling is required, then you will need to submit to that at your expense. In addition to that, you will attend and complete 1 victim impact panel. The programs and the qualifications of those programs will all be done through your probation officer. As soon as you complete every element and all these conditions, then your probation will be terminated. Do you have any questions?
no,
Mr. Hopkins, any questions?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, that completes this case. Thank you very much. Best of luck with the case.
Thank you. Judge, that's all I have. May I be excused?
Just 1 second, Mr. Hopkins, yes.
Yes.
The probation contact information sheet for him to complete for his client.
And who sent it?
Miss Business.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Hawkins, if you
Yes.
would please hold our, one of our litigation managers, Ms. Bivens, is going to send you a fill-out sheet for the probation information.
I'm sorry, send that to me or to my client?
We'll be sending it to you. We typically send it to counsel to complete
Okay.
it. If Ms. Ibn Sami wants to provide us with her email in the chat on the Zoom, you can direct that to Ms. Redden. If you look at the chat feature, the first message on the chat will have information to be sent to monica.redden@fultoncountyga.gov.
Okay,
Yes.
looks like I got it over the chat. I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, you did? Oh, well.
Yeah. I was able to get the Judicial Correction Services document.
Okay, perfect. If you'd like to save that, can you also send it to Ms. Ibn Sami? Ms.
It
Bivens?
says it's returnable, was it Tanine Allen? Is that who it goes back to?
No,
No,
it needs to be sent right back to Ms. Bivens who sent it to you.
well, she sent it in the chat, so.
Yeah, so can I write down the email that we need to send this back to?
Ms. Bivens, if you want to give your email address to Mr. Hawkins, you'll see that in the chat as well.
Okay,
All right? All right, Ms. Ibn Sami, just work with Mr. Hawkins to complete that form. And then once it's sent back, and Mr. Hawkins, you can keep a copy of it for Ms. Ibn Sami. It's got the probation address and phone number at the top. The report date is next Thursday before 3 p.m.
very good, John. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hawkins. You have a good one.
You too.
Don't leave until you send that form back.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Stockard, good afternoon, good morning, sorry.
Good morning.
It's your case. I see Alan Stockard. Yeah. And
I'm sorry.
counsel, what are we doing with, Mr. I'm so sorry. Do you want to wait till that screen is operational?
No, it's okay, Your Honor. It's fine.
Okay, can you see him on that screen?
I can, Your Honor.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Your Honor, I'm Ben Sessions for Mr. Stockard. We have a negotiated plea on that case as well.
All right. Ms. Redden?
Thank you.
Oh, did I sign the right? Darn it. Thank you. And this, no. All right, perfect. Okay, Mr. Alan Moore Stockard is case number. Just 1 second, please. Miss Chauncey, I know she just appeared. Miss Chauncey will be with you very shortly.
Yes.
Do we still have Ricardo Luna available?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is in the back.
Okay, eventually I'll have the both of you be seated at that table so that y'all can communicate with the interpreter who's on screen.
That's fine with me. Your Honor, I did want to approach on a matter before we get started. Just wanted to know that.
I beg your pardon?
We wanted to approach on a matter in terms of the sentencing, Your Honor, if possible, before we start the plea.
Oh, definitely. We'll do that. Okay, right after I'm done with this one. Thank you. Okay, back to Mr. Sessions' client. This is case 20 CR 002-472C. This is State versus Alan Moore Stockard. Mr. Stockard is appearing at this calendar virtually through Zoom, and his attorney, Mr. Benjamin Sessions, is present in the court. This is going to be a plea hearing with regards to this particular case stemming from a traffic incident in which Mr. Stockard was accused of illegal stopping where prohibited, failure to maintain lane, DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and reckless driving. So that's 5 charges altogether. And Mr. Stockard, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to share with us during the course of these proceedings, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your counsel is with you, but kind of detached and here in person. But he's watching you and listening to you at all times. All right. For purposes of this plea, may I place you under oath?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
For some reason, we don't see Mr. Sessions. Have they not ever fixed the video on that?
Your Honor, we were just discussing it. You can see me in the SCO G33 gallery, like just in the corner of it.
And exactly, and Judge, Your Honor, the camera that's on top of the monitor is actually the camera for
For the
No,
podium.
like for the
It
podium.
pulls from both, but hold on.
You want me to spin it around or try to spin it around?
No, it just.
Or to just stand up there?
That's a feature on the video on Zoom.
It won't let me, that's the problem.
You want me just to stand up there?
No, yeah, but it's, you're supposed to be able to put the camera from Zoom. But it won't let me do anything with this mouse.
That's fine, actually, Mr. Sessions. I'm perfectly comfortable with you being there, and as long as you can be heard. But if you want to be on the same recorded proceeding, you can stand at the podium too.
It's perfectly fine. If it's okay
Okay.
with you, Judge, for me sitting here, it's no trouble with me.
Where you're right here, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Stockard, are you absolutely assured that your attorney is in the courtroom with me, although you don't see him on the screen?
I am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Waldrop or Mr. Stevens? Ms. Wald, both of you?
I think this might be Ms. Reiser's case, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge, I can handle this.
Reiser? Oh, okay, prosecutors on the Zoom. All right, Ms. Reiser, good morning. And we are addressing position number 3, State versus Stockard. What's the state's recommendation in terms of the 5 charges?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is going to be entering a guilty plea to 1 count of reckless driving. All other remaining charges will be null prossed, so that will be counts 1, 2, 3, and 5. And he will be tendering a guilty plea to count 6. The state's recommended sentence is 12 months of probation, a $500 fine, 40 hours of community service, an alcohol drug evaluation and any treatment if deemed necessary, 1 risk reduction, and 1 victim impact panel. Mr. Sessions, for purposes of the plea, will you stipulate to factual basis, ID, venue?
Yes, ma'am, I believe that there is.
Okay. Judge, the state has no objection to termination upon completion of those conditions.
All right. And Ms. Reiser, I don't know whether you misspoke, but this is count 5 for reckless driving, not count 6, right?
Correct. I apologize. That was,
No, I just want to be sure. All right. Mr. Sessions, you've already stipulated, and does your client agree to all these terms as you've discussed with him?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, and I've discussed them with him.
All right, excellent. Mr. Stockard, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the legal services you've received?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea offer today?
No.
And has it been explained to you through counsel that in order for me to accept this plea, you have to knowingly, voluntarily, and freely waive your constitutional right to go back to court, have a trial in front of a judge or a jury, waive your right to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you prepared to waive such rights?
Yes.
And how do you plead to 1 count of reckless driving?
Guilty.
Your sentence, as indicated, is going to be the 12 months. And I'm assuming he doesn't get credit for 1 day served. Was there a credit for 1 day served?
Yes, Judge, he can have, credit for a day served.
Okay, is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. You would have to pay a $500 fine plus any court costs and surcharges, which will be paid to your probation officer. You need to complete 40 hours of voluntary community service with any 501c agency that is not a school and not a religious organization. Anything else would work, Salvation Army, Animal Rescue, so forth. You need to submit to an alcohol and drug evaluation with a qualified healthcare provider. There may be some treatment or counseling that may be recommended or required, and you would have to submit yourself to that at the provider's recommendation. A risk reduction class has to be, a program, excuse me, has to be completed, as well as attend and complete one victim impact panel. All this requirements will be monitored by your probation officer. You will report to the probation office next Thursday before 3 p.m. and the office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. As Mr. Sessions is in the courtroom, he'll be filling out the form right here and he will send you a copy of the form. All right. Once all these conditions are completed to the satisfaction of your probation officer, your probation will terminate. All right, Mr. Stalker, do you have any questions for the court?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Sessions?
Your Honor, I haven't run into trouble with it here, but I have had trouble recently. Can he get credit for the conditions that he's already completed?
I didn't ask you that. So what has he completed?
DUI school and drug and alcohol evaluation have already been completed, Your Honor.
So, and could you tell me the date of when the AD?
I do not have them with me. I will, I'll obviously provide them to our probation officer.
So ADT and risk reduction are completed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so all I'm going to make a note on the plea statement is it's completed, proof of completion to be submitted to the probation
Honor.
officer.
And I've had some trouble recently with clients who appeared for probation and no one was there. Will they be followed up by email or telephonically? He lives in North Carolina.
So the form that we ask you to fill out, that's sent to probation services, and they are open on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, and they take clients before 3 p.m., new clients.
Before 3 p.m.
Before 3 p.m.
Thank you so much.
And so it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So someone should always be there. The best, if there is any question, the form that you're going to fill out, there's got the address and the phone number on the letterhead. You can call them the day before to verify that they're open, that they are manned, and that your client will see someone. Otherwise, I have no other way of
Thank you so much.
enforcing that. Okay.
Yeah, Your Honor, and because he resides outside the state, once we report in initially, may we go to electronic reporting or telephonic reporting?
ADT is done, risk reduction is done. Any objection? All the other conditions appear to be the fine, the community service, and the victim impact panel is something that can be done from North Carolina. Oh, Ms. Reiser, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at the prosecutors here. Sorry about that.
No,
Ms.
you're
Reiser?
okay, Judge. No objection.
All right. So after the first report, he will report telephonically.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that completes this case. Thank you, Mr. Stockett. You're free to go. And
Thank you.
Ms. Reiser, did you have any other cases?
Yes, Judge. I just have an announcement on, I believe it's position 1, Leonard Bennett, motion for new trial. That's just an announcement, Judge. I don't believe that can go forward today.
You don't think it will go forward today?
No, it cannot, Judge.
It cannot, Judge. He needs to be appointed a new attorney for the appellate matters. Also, there needs to be an amended motion of new trial that needs to be filed, and the transcript from the trial needs to be filed. And so before we can even go forward on that, we need to have all three of those things taken care of.
When shall I reset it? Mr. Bennett, this is your case. You can come up to the podium.
I can speak for at least procedure, but you can come on up to the podium, Mr. Bennett.
So the PD's office is still representing him?
No. So what happened, Judge, this is the case that myself and Ms. Walter tried before, Your Honor.
I remember.
Yeah, he was found guilty, and I filed a motion for new trial on his behalf to preserve his right. But I cannot move forward with that motion because I can't raise ineffective assistance of counsel on myself.
No, I understand
Yes.
that. So, but I thought I signed a withdrawal order.
That's why I'm here, because I don't know if it was for this case. And I just want to make sure that Mr. Bennett and his new counsel that has been facilitated too. That's why I'm here as well, to make sure the transition is smooth.
Maybe you had mentioned you were going to submit one, but I haven't signed one yet. Okay,
Okay.
so are you planning to submit one?
I'll submit one, and I still want to just make sure that the transition to his new attorney is smooth as well, Judge.
Well, the transitions, as soon as he hires one, then that's it. Mr. Bennett, are you planning to retain your counsel?
I think he needs to be appointed one, Judge, because he would still qualify.
He does?
Yes, he would still
Okay.
qualify for the service of the public defender's office. It's just that the conflict defender needs to represent him.
All right, Mr. Bennett, this is 20 CR 004851E, in which a bench trial was held and a verdict was rendered, and it appears that you filed a motion for a new trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
And also appears that the public defender, Mr. Frank Gaither, is going to be withdrawing from this case based on the issues raised in the motion for the new trial. So you would need to go back to the clerk's office and apply for appointed counsel from the conflict defense list. And presently, I don't have that list, so you would have to speak to either Mr. Michael Jordan, well, most likely Mr. Michael Jordan, or Miss Katrina Lewis up in the clerk's office, and let them know that since the PD's office is withdrawing from your case, that you would need appointed counsel for your motion for new trial.
I spoke to Mr. Haddad. He said that one would be appointed, but I've received nothing.
Won't happen unless you go up there and affirmatively apply for it.
All right, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right?
And Judge, Mr. Gaither, I don't know if you already requested the transcript, but I mean, it's my understanding court reporters are pretty backed up on transcript requests, and I'm sure that's going to be a pretty lengthy transcript. So if someone, I guess, from the PD's office and or his new counsel needs to order that transcript.
And I was really, the only reason I didn't order it, Ms. Weiser, because I was hoping that the new counsel, I will let them do the whole shebang. Now, if I need to do it to, like I said, to make the transition smooth, I will. But I was hoping that new counsel could come on board, file an entry, and then order the transcript, amend the motion. Because the only reason I filed that motion for new trial was just to preserve his right within that 30-day window.
Right.
He's already filed the motion. This was filed on May 25th. And now on August 18th, we are all addressing this brand new issues that should have been addressed like within 30 days of that motion.
Actually, it was addressed in the motion because I stated in the motion that I would not be able to represent him.
Mr. Gaither, if you had put those issues there, then while you were still representing him and until you withdrawn from the case, all I'm saying is that due diligence would require at least these steps be taken. Instead, this motion has been languishing since May 25th. June, July, it's been 2.5 months. And now you are asking me to give you all more time so that you can get appointed counsel, which should have been done back in June. Then you're asking for a transcript, which should have been requested when the motion was filed, or at least as soon as appointed counsel was put in place. And then you're asking me to set it down for a hearing. And so what we're looking at right now is another 2 months.
That's
minimum.
right, Judge. That's right. And I hear all of that. And Mr. Haddad has asked for new counsel twice. That has not been done. We have no control.
Beg your pardon? Who asked for
But Mr.
counsel?
Haddad has asked the court or the clerk services or someone to provide new counsel twice.
Who
We're
did-
at a loss as
Who
to.
did he ask? Who did he ask? Don't ask. Don't give me some vague.
I don't have the
just a
emails.
vague- I need to know to whom did he direct this and why was it not responded?
I do not have his emails in
Okay,
front of me
so
right now.
you cannot speak on behalf of Mr. Haddad then.
But I can speak, he is my supervisor and I'm standing in the office of the public defender saying that we're at a loss as far as who to, how to move it forward under the appellate level. If this was on the trial level.
Not
we
an
would-
appellate level. This is a motion for new trial. If I
Yes.
deny it, then he goes on to the appellate level.
Exactly, but
Okay.
that's why I can't represent him, Your Honor.
I totally agree with you. What my issue is with the pace on how we are moving forward. Right now, this man's got a guilty verdict against him and it's going to stay with him until we hear this case. All right? So we are going to reschedule this case for motions. And I just need to see what I have right now. So this is August 18th. Oh, how convenient. November 17th. Am I in town? No, I'm not. Okay, so I'm not in town on November 17th. Do we have another date?
Unless I overlooked the slot that we've been told to use, Judge, I can put it on that one, but if we overlook the other way, you put them on whatever you tell me. It would be over the.
What is the date right before that one? I don't know if you have any dates after that. All right. Mr. Bennett, Mr.
Yes, Your Honor.
Baker, the Public Defender's Office are on notice that the court is not going to tolerate any further delays. If y'all don't get appointed counsel, I don't know. I need to know the reason why, a specific reason. Calling the entire clerk's department is not going to do it. I need to know to whom it was directed, and then we can then put that person on the plate and find out what was the problem with the delay. This is not gonna work. October 20th.
I'll find you another one. I can go earlier.
No, hang on. 18th September. Yeah, this will work. October 20th, 2 months.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, I don't know if that will work being realistic, because Ms. Reiser just said that the court reporters are backed up. So I don't want to say October 20th or even November the 17th, knowing that the court reporters are backed up, and then we could face this issue again.
Mr. Gaither, I haven't allowed you to withdraw from the case. You filed the motion for new trial.
That's right.
You go ahead and start ordering the transcript, and then I'm sure appointed counsel will appreciate the effort and take it up from there
That's what I'll do.
today. Mr. Bennett,
Yes, Your Honor.
when your appointed counsel becomes your appointed counsel, it's entirely up to you how fast you go up there, and make sure that someone picks counsel from a list and you are appointed that person.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
it's your duty to contact that person and make sure you let them know exactly what's been happening right up to this date, so that on October 20th, everyone is ready to go on this motion for new trial.
Yes, Your Honor. And the office again is the
J150, first floor.
J150 first floor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, position number 1 is reset for a motions calendar, October 20th at 9 a.m. All right, Ms. Reiser, anything else?
That's all, Your Honor.
Judge, may I make an announcement, Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Hawkins?
And forgive me, Judge, I was not aware of this until I've been communicating with Ms. Ibisanmi. She works multiple jobs next Thursday. She is a server at Marlowe's and at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And the good news is she's just entering the real estate industry and she has her very first closing on Thursday. Is it possible we could request a different initial report date to probation
Wednesday.
to allow her to complete those tasks?
Wednesday, August 23rd, before 3 p.m.
Ms. Ibisanmi, can you turn on your microphone, please?
Yes.
Will Wednesday work better for you than Thursday? You're going to have to make time for this, so let's
Yeah,
find time to do it.
I'll figure it out. I'll make it work.
You can do
Okay.
Wednesday. Judge, was there a particular time or just Wednesday?
Anytime before 3 p.m.
Very
Okay.
good. All right, Ms. Ibasami, get that form completed and they'll see you at probation on Wednesday. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate your help with that.
All right, y'all have a good day. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Ms. Chauncey, I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. All right, and counsel and your client, you can sit at that table because at least you may not be able to see the defendant, Ms. Chauncey,
No problem,
but you'll definitely hear him, okay?
Your Honor. May I please be excused?
Oh, yes, Ms. Riser, you too. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Okay,
Your Honor, may I-
yes, let me just swear in my, Ms. Chauncey, do you
Yes.
solemnly swear and affirm the translation you provide will be the truth without any changes or embellishments?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Presidente.
Just one second, we have a sidebar, okay?
All right.
Ms. Johnson, if you please hold, the attorney wants to confer with the client and then we will proceed, okay? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Chauncey has been sworn in as our interpreter of this particular case, which
It's
is,
like the camera's working now.
so the camera is not working, but you can see the interpreter.
No, our camera is working now. So
I can see them, Your Honor.
Yes, I got, well, I just have to lift this on.
All right, well, thank you, thank you. All right.
The microphone is on.
Can you do a test 1, 2, 3, counsel?
1, 2, 3. Puedes hablar un poco.
Can you hear her, Ms.
Yes,
Johnson?
yes. Thank you, thank you.
All right. Yeah, 1 second, please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I apologize for that. We are addressing the case of State of Georgia versus Ricardo Luna.
Estamos tratando el caso del estado de Georgia en contra de Ricardo Luna,
in which Mr. Luna has been accused of DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and driving without a valid license.
en el cual el señor Luna ha sido acusado con un cargo de manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol y el segundo de manejar sin licencia válida.
In this accusation number is 21 CR 001179A.
El número de caso es 21 CR 001 179A.
Mr. Luna is present in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Kazuma. No, you're not Ms. Kazuma.
No, Your Honor, I am Attorney Maria Diaz, D-I-A-Z.
El señor Luna está presente con su abogada, la señorita María Díaz.
And Mr. Luna, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you say, your comments can and will be used against you.
El señor Luna, usted puede guardar silencio sobre los hechos del caso. Todo lo que diga puede y será usado en su contra.
And you have a right to an attorney, and Ms. Diaz will be your counsel.
Usted tiene derecho a ser representado por un abogado y la señorita Díaz será su abogada, representante.
This is going to be a plea hearing in which the state is going to make a recommendation with regards to the charges and the sentence.
Esta es una audiencia de declaración, de toma de declaración, en donde la fiscalía va a informar acerca de la sentencia recomendada.
And the court will accept your plea if it is freely, willingly, and knowingly made.
Y yo como jueza aceptaré esa declaración si es hecha libre, voluntariamente y a sabiendas.
For purposes of the plea, may I place you under oath?
Con propósitos de la toma de esta declaración, ¿puedo juramentarlo?
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand.
Levante su mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Usted jura y afirma que la declaración que dará será toda la verdad, lo mejor que usted sepa. Yes, I do.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Stevens is the prosecutor, and he's going to tell me what's the recommendation for Mr. Luna.
El señor Stevens es el representante de la fiscalía y él me dirá cuál es el convenio declaratorio en este caso.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was charged with DUI less safe and driving without a valid license. The state is asking for him to plead NOLO to reckless driving and driving without a valid license.
Okay.
El acusado tiene dos cargos por manejar incapacitado bajo los efectos del alcohol y manejar sin licencia, y se recomienda que se declare no disputar ante un cargo de manejo negligente.
For the conditions, count 1, reckless driving. It will be a $300 fine, 40 hours of community service, 11 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, the remaining time balance probated.
En el cargo número 1, manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol, una multa de $300, 40 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad, 11 meses, para servir 24 horas y crédito por tiempo servido 24 horas. El resto de la sentencia debe cumplirse bajo probatoria.
You also have to do 1 victim impact panel, a risk reduction program, and an alcohol and drug evaluation and treatment.
I'm sorry, victim impact program panel, and what else?
Risk reduction program,
Okay.
and alcohol and drug evaluation and treatment.
Se recomienda también una sesión con el panel de impacto a la víctima, también un curso de reducción de riesgo en el manejo y también que se someta a una evaluación de drogas, alcohol y tratamiento.
For count 2, driving without a valid license. Again, it would be 11 months to serve 10 days. To run- Oh, go ahead.
Para el segundo cargo, manejar sin licencia serán 11 meses para servir 10 días.
The 10 days is to run consecutive, remaining time balance probated to run concurrent. So jail
los
time would
10
be, oh, sorry, I apologize.
Los
Jail
10
time,
días deben ser consecutivos y para servirse, I'm sorry, el tiempo de encarcelamiento será de manera simultánea.
jail time is consecutive, probation is concurrent.
Lo siento, el tiempo de encarcelamiento es consecutivo y la probatoria es de manera concurrente.
It'd also be $1,000 fine,
Una
And
multa
this-
de $1,000
and the state is open for community service in exchange for the 2 fines.
y también la Fiscalía está dispuesta a aceptar trabajo a favor de la comunidad en vez de hacer un pago de multas.
Your Honor, would you also like me to do the facts and the factual basis?
¿Usted quiere
this
que
is-
le lea los hechos?
If this is a negotiated plea, it's really the prosecution's discretion.
So
Yo voy a dejar que lo decida la Fiscalía porque esto es un convenio declaratorio.
if the defense stipulates to the factual basis and venue, we're fine.
Yes, Your Honor, we stipulate.
La defensa está de acuerdo con el fundamento y la jurisdicción.
Ms. Diaz, have you gone over these recommendations with your client?
Señora Díaz, ¿ha repasado estas condiciones con su cliente?
I have, Your Honor.
Sí, lo he hecho.
And he accepts these terms?
¿Él acepta estas condiciones?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sí, su señoría.
I just wanted to confirm that there have been no jailings in this case. So it would be the 10 days that Mr. Luna would have to serve if I accept the plea.
Quiero dejar aclarado acerca del tiempo de encarcelamiento, que habrá más aparte de los 10 días de que el señor Luna ha aceptado en la
And the-
declaración.
And the sheriff's office will give him the 2-for-1 ratio, so he would have to serve 5 full days at the Fulton County Jail.
Y en la comisaría se le otorgará la condición de 2-por-1, que lo que le darían entonces 5 días de encarcelamiento.
After which he will then have to report to probation.
Después de eso, él tendrá que presentarse ante la oficina de servicios probatorios.
And probation will be for 11 months since the jail time is consecutive.
Debido a que el tiempo de encarcelamiento es consecutivo, la probatoria será de un periodo de 11 meses.
Cualquier pregunta?
Mhm.
Yes, my client understands.
All right.
Accepts.
And then the other, sorry, go ahead.
El cliente entiende y acepta.
The other question is whether your client will be paying the fine or was he seeking a conversion to community service hours?
La otra pregunta se trata de saber si su cliente va a pagar la multa o quiere convertirla en horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad.
Keeping in mind that the reckless driving already requires 40 hours of community service.
Teniendo en cuenta que el cargo de manejo negligente solo requiere 40 horas de servicio a favor de la comunidad,
The $300 fine would be converted to 30 hours of community service.
y los $300 de multa van a convertirse en 30 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad.
And the $1,000 fine for the license issue will be converted to 100 hours of community service.
Y la multa de $1,000 por manejar sin licencia se convertirá en 100 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad.
Which would then mean that instead of paying a fine, he would be required to do 170 hours of voluntary community service.
Entonces, solo al hacer esta conversión se requerirá que él cumpla con 170 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad
in order to satisfy both these sentences.
para que queden cumplidas ambas sentencias.
Your Honor, my client elects to pay the fines over time with probation.
Su señoría, mi cliente elige pagar sus multas a través de un periodo de tiempo de probatoria.
You know what the amount is?
And the exact total.
And Ms. Diaz, so I'm sure you must have covered this. I just want to be sure he understands this portion too.
Yo sé que esto usted ya lo ha cubierto, señorita Díaz, con él, pero quiero asegurarme que él entienda esta parte.
It's a $300 fine for the reckless driving and a $1,000 fine for the license issue.
Es una multa de $300 por el primer cargo de manejo negligente y $1,000 por el cargo referido a la falta de licencia.
Every month that he reports to probation, there's a probation fee that needs to be paid.
Cada vez que él se presente ante probatoria, habrá una multa adicional que tendrá que pagar.
And
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Habrá una tarifa de probatoria adicional a pagar. Thank you, Your Honor.
okay. And in addition to the fine, the state and the county assess court costs and surcharges as well.
También existen los recargos judiciales de estatales y de condado que serán adicionales.
Miss Redden is getting the charges for me.
El monto me lo está obteniendo la señorita Redden.
Would you like to pause until we get the figure?
¿Quiere hacer una pausa hasta que yo obtenga el monto total?
¿Quieres saber la multa total por mes o el monto total que vas a pagar o quieres proceder? Yes, my client would like to know the total amount.
Okay. Just give me a moment.
Un momento, por favor.
For the reckless driving, the fine is $300 and the court costs and surcharges would be an additional $174.50 for a total of $474.50.
Por el cargo de manejo negligente es una multa de $300 más $174.50 de costos judiciales, trayendo un total de $474.50.
For the driving license issue, the fine is $1,000. The surcharges add up to $420 for a total of $1,420.
Y por el cargo de manejar sin licencia, la multa es de $1,000 más adicionales de $420, trayendo un total de $1,420.
The probation fees are over and above these charges.
I'm sorry.
The probation fees are in addition to these.
Oh, thank you. Las tarifas mensuales de probatoria deben adherirse a estos cargos.
Do you happen to know the probation fee?
They're about $50 a month.
Son un poco más de $50 al mes.
Entonces, esta es la que pagarás.
So I believe for the 11 months it'd be $550, Your Honor.
Serían entonces $550 en tarifas, su señoría.
¿Entiendes que tendrás que pagar esto sobre tiempo o prefieres hacerlo sin hacer?
¿Cuándo es? ¿Sobre tiempo? 11 meses.
And he would have to pay this amount throughout the time period of the 11 months probation.
Correct.
Él tendrá que pagar todo esto en el periodo de 11 meses. Correcto.
¿Entiendes?
Do you understand?
Sí, eso. Bueno.
My client seems to understand and
All
he's
right.
willing to go forward.
Mi cliente entiende. Podemos proseguir.
Mr. Luna, have you consumed any alcohol or medication recently?
Señor Luna, ¿ha consumido alcohol o medicamentos recientemente?
No.
No.
Have you understood the proceedings so far?
¿Ha entendido este proceso hasta ahora?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the legal services you've received in this case?
¿Está satisfecho con el servicio legal que ha recibido en este caso?
Sí.
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea offer today?
¿Hay alguien que lo esté forzando o induciendo a tomar esta declaración hoy?
No.
No.
And have you and your attorney gone over the document with regards to the consequences of pleading guilty to reckless driving and driving without a valid license?
¿Y ha repasado usted con su abogada el documento que explica las consecuencias de declararse culpable ante un cargo de conducta negligente y manejar sin licencia?
Sí.
Yes.
And it's been explained to you that entering such a plea could have an impact on your immigration status?
¿Se le ha explicado a usted que el tomar esta declaración puede causar un impacto en su estado inmigratorio?
Sí.
Yes.
It could also have an impact on any other open case that you may have?
Y que también puede tener un impacto sobre algún caso legal que tenga pendiente o abierto ahora?
Sí.
Yes.
And you're still willing to enter this plea freely and knowingly?
Y entonces usted quiere proseguir tomando esta declaración libremente y a sabiendas?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Luna, you understand that if I accept your no plea or your no contest plea, that you will be giving up your right to have a trial before a judge or a jury?
¿Entiende usted, señor Luna, que si yo acepto su declaración de nolo, usted no proseguirá a un juicio ante un juez o jurado?
Sí.
Yes.
You will be giving up your right to confront your accuser and challenge the evidence brought against you?
Y usted va a renunciar a su derecho de cargar testigos. I'm sorry, confront witnesses, Your Honor.
You're willing to give up your right to confront your accuser and challenge the evidence brought against you.
Thank you. Cariar a los que lo acusan y también desafiar estos cargos que lo acusan?
Sí.
Yes.
As well as your right to have the prosecution prove the original charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Y también al derecho de hacer que la fiscalía compruebe estos cargos en su contra más allá de toda duda razonable?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. How do you plead to one count of reckless driving?
¿Cómo se declara ante un cargo de manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol?
No.
No.
How do you plead to one count of driving without a valid license?
¿Y cómo se declara ante un cargo de manejar sin licencia válida?
No.
No.
Your sentence for the reckless driving conviction is a $300 fine plus court costs and surcharges.
Por el cargo de manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol, la multa es de $300 más los costos adicionales y tarifas.
This can be paid off because your sentence is for 11 months to serve, no, sorry. Yeah, your sentence is for 11 months on probation.
Debido a que su sentencia es de 11 meses bajo probatoria.
While on probation, you will also complete 40 hours of voluntary community service with any nonprofit agency.
Mientras esté bajo probatoria, debe trabajar 40 horas a favor de la comunidad en una entidad sin fines de lucro.
The The community service must be completed at any nonprofit agency which is not a school and not a religious organization. So no school and no church.
Y estas entidad sin fines de lucro no puede ser de ni una escuela o iglesia.
In addition to the fine and the community service, you will also attend one victim impact panel.
Y aparte de la multa y el trabajo a favor de la comunidad, debe usted presentarse a una sesión de impacto a la víctima.
You will complete one risk reduction program.
Y completar un curso de reducción de riesgo en el manejo.
And submit yourself to an alcohol and drug evaluation and complete the treatment if required.
Y usted debe someterse a una evaluación de drogas y alcohol y someterse a tratamiento médico si es necesario.
So the payment of the fine and the costs, the community service, the victim impact panel, the risk reduction, and the alcohol and drug evaluation must all be done within the 11 months that you're on probation.
Entonces, el pago de la multa, el trabajo a favor de la comunidad, la sesión de impacto a la víctima, el curso de reducción de riesgo, el someterse a una evaluación de drogas y alcohol, deberá hacerse en el periodo de 11 meses bajo probatoria.
Do you have any questions about your sentence for the reckless driving?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta que quiera hacer acerca de la sentencia por el cargo de manejo negligente?
No.
No.
For the driving without a valid license, it's also going to be 11 months to serve 10 days, and then the remainder of the time will be served on probation.
Por el cargo de manejar sin licencia válida, será también un periodo de 11 meses a servir 10 días y cumplir el resto de la sentencia bajo probatoria.
The serving time for the 10 days will be consecutive or in addition to the prior sentence.
Los 10 días a servir será hecho de manera consecutiva o adicionalmente a la sentencia previa.
However, the term of the probation will be concurrent with the prior sentence.
Y los términos de probatoria va a ser cumplido de manera concurrente con este tiempo a servirse.
You will turn yourself in at the Fulton County Jail and you will serve the time immediately without any breaks.
Usted debe presentarse ante la cárcel del condado de Fulton y servir el tiempo requerido sin ninguna pausa.
Do you have a turn-in date?
¿Tiene usted una cita para poder presentarse?
We do, Your Honor. My client respectfully asks if he can turn himself in on August 31st.
Sí, señoría, mi cliente ha solicitado presentarse el 30 de agosto.
Any objection from the state?
No, Your
¿Alguna
Honor.
objeción? No, su señoría.
All right. He has to surrender at the Fulton County Jail before noon on August 31st, 2023. And he will be given credit that the sheriff of Fulton County provides a 2-for-1. And based on their calculation, they will either release him afternoon on Monday or by midnight before Tuesday.
Él debe presentarse en la cárcel del condado de Fulton antes del mediodía. El 30 de agosto del 2023 se le otorgará el conocido crédito de 2-por-1, lo que permitirá que estar en libertad en la tarde del lunes o en la tarde del martes.
Since you're turning yourself into the jail at the end of this month, that would delay your probation.
al presentarse usted en la cárcel a fin de mes, demorará su periodo de probatoria.
Can he do it before? Can he?
¿Puede él empezarlo antes?
I don't have probation here.
Mm.
Okay, this is what we'll do. Mr. Stevens or Ms. Waldrop, are you familiar with the procedure, whether he can serve his
Eh,
jail time? No, just one second, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with the procedures, whether he can serve jail time while he's on probation, or does he have to begin probation as soon as jail time is completed?
I'm not aware, Your Honor.
Yes, and I'm not sure either, Judge.
Okay. That's just that question I have, when he has to begin probation.
Your Honor, I'm not sure about Fulton, but in most other counties where I've done this sort of thing, it's usually he does the 10 days and on release, he is given an order to present himself to probation. But I do not know if that is how.
I just, that's what I'm thinking is the correct way. But I just want to be sure that he completes the jail time, then he reports to probation, which means that I'm going to give him a delayed probation date to report.
Yes, Your Honor.
And this part you can translate, Ms. Chauncey.
Thank you. Entonces, yo lo que quiero asegurarme es que tiene que él cumplir el tiempo de encarcelamiento primero y después continuar con la probatoria. Su abogada explicó que normalmente en nuestros condados se hace de esa manera. Entonces, la jueza dijo, lo que yo quiero entonces es darle una nueva fecha para que comience el proceso de probatoria después que termine el tiempo de encarcelamiento.
All right. He has to serve the 10 days first. And
Tiene que
then,
servir los 10 días primero
then he reports to probation.
y después presentarse ante la oficina de servicio probatorio.
As his turn-in date is Thursday, August 31st before noon.
Como usted debe, I'm sorry, August 31st or 30th?
August 31st, this year, 2023, before noon.
Como usted tiene que presentarse antes de las 12 el 31 de agosto,
His report date to probation is September 7th.
la fecha para presentarse ante probatoria es el 7 de septiembre
Of this year, before 3 p.m.
de este año y antes de las 3 de la tarde.
The last condition for the driving without a valid license is the $1,000 fine plus the court costs and surcharges.
Y las últimas condiciones por manejar sin licencia es el pago de la multa más los adicionales y recargos.
That concludes the sentence. Anything from, any questions from Mr. Luna?
Esto concluye la sentencia. ¿Alguna pregunta del señor Luna?
No, Your Honor.
No.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Chauncey.
you.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You have a good day, Your Honor.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we will resume at 1:30 if we have a calendar.
No, Judge.
No, we are done for the day. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.
Your Honor, do we wait for probation or any?
No,
We're just good to go.
you're going to fill out a form and then that form is going to go to probation, but
I think
they
we
will.
have already filled that form out.
Oh, you have, then then they just need to indicate the surrender date is September 7th.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, Ms.